Hello my country people, how una dey? This is MAUREEN'S TV. My people, this video one about to watch now about Queen Iden, one faithful queen for Edo State in those days when we say them very alive. Una know say of recent when some of the Edo indigenes then gather to protest, say make dem name this Queen Eden, make dem immortalize her, make dem name one of the institution when e dey for Benin, or declare public holiday for the sacrifice when e be say this queen sacrifice herself alive because of the calamity when e be before the Benin kingdom, before this woman come out. They say according to report, say her grave still dey for the marketplace, say human being no dey step in leg for the grave. Say the day wey be say anybody step in leg for the grave, na that day they go kpai the person, they go sacrifice the person. Say the woman give instruction, say her grave, say they go make sure say e no dirty, make dem make sure they clean am. They say if you go for that place sef, you go see one old woman dey there dey sing praise of this Queen Eden. Alright, my people, make I read exactly the story of wetin happen when sotey this queen come bring herself, sotey they come bury am alive. So why the great queen of Eden Benin kingdom was buried alive, na be the title. Queen Eden was the faithful and beloved wife of Oba Ewuakpe of the great Benin kingdom. She was the pride and embodiment of love, strength, encouragement, brevity, African beauty, and femininity. Ewuakpo became Oba king in the ancient Benin kingdom at about 17 AD. He was the 26th monarch of the hereditary title of Benin dynasty. Meanwhile, many years before Ewuakpe became king, precisely between 1440 and 1473 AD, Oba Ewuare had prophesied that there would be a time when Benin kingdom would experience bad time. This came to pass during the reign of Oba Ewuakpe. Now, after Oba Ewuakpe coronation, he married a beautiful girl called Iden. She lived with him in the royal palace built with red soil mixed with palm oil instead of water. That is the sign of richness be that too. Instead of they go use the water take mix, and they use red oil to show say na riches. Ewuakpe reign was characterized by a series of setbacks during the early period, to the extent that all subjects in the kingdom revolt against him. The fundamental cause of the revolt was to protest against the monarch's high-handedness and his flagrant disrespect to human lives, which culminated in the mass killing of his subjects at Uselu during the funeral of his deceased mother, Queen Ewubonoza, in about 1715 AD. When it became apparent that the elders and the citizens of the kingdom could no longer accommodate the excesses of the king, they were compelled to severe connection with him. Therefore, they suspended all meetings at the palace. Social services were also grounded. This uprising also affected all his wife Oloris, the royal slave Ovien, and other palace attendants who all left. The Oba would have been left all alone except for Queen Eden, who demonstrates her loyalty and love for her husband by staying with him. With time, life in the palace became unbearable for Oba Ewuakpe, and he decided to go to his mother town, Ikoka, but he wasn't well treated there. When he arrived, he wasn't received with open arms. He was treated unkindly. For instance, they ordered him to join the youth of the town to clear the road path leading to the community well in preparation for the rainy season. He was angered by their disrespect for his esteemed position. That was how that he had to place a curse on the people and the town of Ikoka. In his sad state of mind, he came back to the Benin. During his devastating and isolatory period, when Queen Eden became the only friend and comfort of Oba Ewuakbe, as she made herself present as the king only hope in time of calamity. In her quest to find a solution to her husband debacle, Queen Eden decided to do something about it. By consulting an oracle on behalf of her husband Oba Ewu Akpe, she believed that the oracle would give instruction and a solution on what would be done about the calamity facing the ancient kingdom and its monarch. After thorough divination by the oracle, he concluded and told Queen Eden that what was needed for the peace of the kingdom and the restoration of Oba Ewuakpe's throne was a human being as sacrificial lamb to appease the gods. Immediately after finding out the solution to the problem from the oracle, she headed for the palace to give the message of the gods to His Majesty the King in their empty harem. The message from the diviner seems to aggravate matters for Oba Ewuakbe because there was no other human being in his palace, free or born, beside his dear wife, Queen Eden, who incidentally was the convener of this report. Consequently, the possibility of getting somebody else for the human sacrifice became remote for the royal couple. In the absence of any other, Queen Eden volunteered to be used as the sacrificial lamb needed by the gods for the restoration of the kingdom and his royalty. As soon as Queen Eden suggests to her husband that she would submit herself for this supreme prize, as demanded by the ancestors, Oba Ewuakwe became nervously bitter, and as she could not as he could not comprehend the possibility of killing his dear wife, who has stood with him in times of trouble, in order to atone for the sin and had not committed for the sin she had not committed. But the determined queen encouraged the royal hands to shed her blood, if only that would appease the ancestral spirit of the land of Benin, so as to put aside the upheaval in the kingdom. When it became clear to Oba Ewu Akpe that there was no other way out of the predicament, he conceded reluctantly to the pressure mounted by his faithful lover and queen to be sacrificed to the gods. Eventually, he buried her alive on the spot near the Oba market in Benin, in the heart of Benin metropolis, before Queen Eden voluntarily offered herself as an atonement of the gods. She requested one favor from the king, that she should make sure her graveside is kept clean all the time. My people, also na the story be this. So somebody said this story is true, not a fiction. I have heard about the story before in an early became a victim almost became a victim by stepping on her graveside near the Oba market. The story has it that on no account must any mortal step his feet on her grave, knowingly and unknowingly, otherwise the person will die or attract a serious curse. The grave is by the side by the Oba Market Ring Road, and in order to protect innocent life who are naive of this might, the graveside is barricaded with a chain. Near there is an old woman, specially stationed there and constantly singing praise of her. my people. Oh, wow, things dey occur sha. Na the things wey be say dem say e happen in those days be that. So some people want to bring that issue of say Africa with their barbaric way of doing things, but whether we like it or not, even for Bible, human sacrifice dey. Even God even tell Abraham say make he go sacrifice Isaac before he come finally make provision for lamb. So all these things are things when e be say e happen in those days. And according to report, dem say this woman grave still dey for Oba market till tomorrow. Say if una go for Benin, una go see one old woman near her grave. Say dem use chain to barricade this woman grave site so that person no go mistakenly go match the place, say because the woman say na the instruction wey she give be that, say make nobody match the grave or make person no knowingly and unknowingly, anybody wey step in foot for that grave, say na kpeme, they go just kpai the person. My people, na wow, things dey occur sha. All this one na history of the land. So somebody say, I'm from this land, the land of Egbomogbogo, ancient Benin. Well, the writer said about the story is true, except to the aspect of when he went to his mother's village to seek refuge in the time of his suffering. Well, what really happened was that during the time of the mother burial, his mother kinsmen sent some emissary to the Benin to mourn with the great Oba of Benin, unknowingly to them that black clothes are forbidden in the palace. So when the Oba saw them, he treated them unfairly by killing those that were sent from Ekoka, his mother's village, to mourn with him. And he left one alive by amputating one of his leg and sent him back to Ikoka in that shameful manner. And it was because of that made his mother kinsman has a reprisal attack with him by asking him to do a lot of nasty work with him, by asking him to do some nasty things, just as clearing road apart from road path to the village where clearing bush path to the farm, and many other wicked things. So because of this shameful humiliation, he left Ikoka angrily, but lay a curse on the men of Ikoka, and he blessed the women of that town because of his dear mother Queen Ewebonaza of blessed memory. And still date, the men of that town can't attain any useful thing in life. And the Ikoka town is located at Ovia Southwest Local Government of Edo State after Udo town. God bless everyone. So my people, now the history of the ancient Benin Kingdom, now I just bring Queen. So Queen Iden na true life story of wetin really happen for the Benin Kingdom. They say this thing happen many years ago. So mostly the people wey believe in wetin this woman do, they don call on the Edo State government, say e must to immortalize this woman Queen Iden. So till tomorrow they still dey observe many tradition concerning this woman sacrifice when he sacrifice. Somebody say what a pathetic story, but was dormancy restored to the region after the sacrifice? As I know, the sacrifice can change the character of the king. Somebody say, wow, what a true love story. In the olden days, leader. Wow. Another person say, you believe all this credible story in holy book of foreign religion, but you are quick, smart, and knowledgeable to ask question and downgrade your own and not so. Yes, because this whole thing wey una dey see so na things when e be say e happen, na history. And all this story wey be say dem still tell us for Bible, na things wey be say e follow happen. So if we fit believe Bible, we should also believe this one. Alright, my people, now how una see this gist? Make una leave una comment for comment section. Now have a nice day. Bye.